stand before you tonight as a proud NPS employee and president of the Muskegon Clerks and Classroom Assistants Association. Respectfully, your actions don't fit the words. At the last board meeting, it was let known that the financial position of the district was not a result of collective bargaining contracts with local unions, but as a result of legislative decisions in Lansing. Yet the district has placed an ad requesting bids for privatization of custodial, bus drivers, clerks, and classroom assistants. We understand the intent is not to fire us. However, that is what privatization is. And we ask that you understand the ramifications of your actions if you were ever to consider this plan as a way to save the district money. We would like you to know that we are an experienced, skilled, and committed group. ESPs share with teachers the common goal of providing an environment where students can grow socially, emotionally, and academically. It takes the work of all school employees to take care of students, educating them, keeping them safe and healthy. Most of us live within the district and have been employed for more than 12 years. We know the students are well known to their families and administrators. Parents are not entrusting strangers. Privatization hurts the local economy and often does not save money. We are hard-working, dedicated employees who often work over and beyond what is required of us because our students are our only priority. We realize your priorities are the same, but also the best opportunities for students. We require us to get trained in high-turn, low-wage employees for dedicated professionals. We hope to see the downside of this action and how it will affect your students' future. So members of all the support groups, please stand. As you can see, there are many years of service here at MPS. I applaud each and every one of you for the hard work we do each day for our MPS students. Thank you for your dedication.
My name is Michael Hagerman. I was at 1479 Northern Avenue. I didn't know the actual order of things here. I was pulled. So I just expressed my disappointment in your vote approving sexual education or the reproduction education changes. The whole idea of sex education was to decrease sexual activity and sexual diseases within our youth in our nation. And from what I have read and studied and researched, the additions of sexual orientation will do nothing to help that. In my opinion, it'll probably make things worse. So that's that one. And secondly, for reading the curriculum, I just learned about this about an hour and a half before yesterday's meeting. So I read the curriculum and went over it this afternoon. The reasons for the additional for the sexual orientation was really education. That should be a different program all in itself. And from my understanding, from talking to some of the ladies here in the office where the curriculum was located, that was one of the main aspects for this curriculum change. So I'm disappointed in that. And I do have a couple extra here. In section 2 of the curriculum, it talks about sexual orientation for fifth graders only. Key concepts it says discriminating or bullying someone based on sexual orientation is prohibited by law, Title IX, in the discrimination law. This is actually an interpretation of the law, and it shouldn't be taught. Title IX says nothing about bullying. Discrimination and bullying are two separate things. They go hand in hand many times in things that take place, but they are two separate things. Bullying is used to force or intimidate a person to want to do something that bullying wants to do. Discrimination is
First one is, in my observation, the single most used incident or single most used accusations of bullying in our schools is accusations of homosexuality, primarily calling other students gay. And I don't believe that can be effectively addressed by teachers without explaining what that means. So thank you for your vote. Number two, I would like to say I am not a Muskegon Public Schools employee. I am a privatized contractor. I have never been employed by Muskegon Public Schools. I was living and working for Lansing Public Schools at the time they were privatized. And I saw the changes that made, the reduction in staff consistency, the fact that we received less training in school policies, less training in specifics of the districts we were working in, the fact that we are subject to separate employee policies, and that we receive no training and no information on the specific policies of the district when it comes to discipline, when it comes to what is expected of us as an employee who works in the building. It does make a difference. And I would ask the board to consider that fact as you go forward with consideration of whether to privatize and how to privatize if that is the direction that you go. Now, what I prepared to say tonight, I'd like to start by thanking Mr. Felsky for the time he spent in the community information meetings at the schools that are looking at closing. I personally very much appreciated the candor, the open information, and the willingness to address questions. I'd also like to thank the members of the board who took time to be at those meetings, to hear our concerns. In particular, I'd like to thank Board Member Bruce, who I believe was at every one of those meetings. Thank you. I would ask as we go forward that you continue to consider one thing. All 5 of the current closing plans involve closing either Nelson or McLaughlin and forming a new school that is a combination of the 2 schools. Several of the plans also roll some of the new students in. The only real question then in the closing policy is which building will this new school be? And as we've gone forward both at those meetings and in other community events, I've seen a great deal of passion by members of both communities for their schools. Some of that passion has been expressed positively and advocating for theirs, some not so positively and advocating against the other. And what I'm seeing a lot of is assumptions that a school will be closed because of feelings over which neighborhood is better, over which teachers are better, over which parents are better, over which students are better. And I would ask the board, Mr. Felsky has outlined excellent ideas of what he wants to see this district go forward academically for high school and middle school. I have not seen any real long-term academic outlook for where we want to be academically for K through 6. And I would ask as those decisions are made that the board look at and be explicitly clear with the members of the community what you are trying to attain for us academically for K through 6. Because the 2 buildings, one of which is going to be closed, we're going to be a new school, are very different. May I have 30 seconds more?
We'll finish. We're way over.
If you are not clear why, people will assume bad reasons. And then we need to be clear why.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Brian Clancy. My address is 338 Yuba Street in Muskegon, Michigan. I am here to both appeal to your logical side and to kill some of the rhetoric that's been going around about the school closings. I want to make sure that everybody understands, like Joshua just said, everybody that's passionate about these schools and they really want some well thought out input into the school closings and which schools that will be left open. And I only want the best thing for our students. When I say that, I don't want like outside forces about votes or anything like that. Then I just want to specify as a guy that tried to be on the board. I want to specify that it should always be about the children and all these proposals. The bottom line underline is about the children, about our children, and I would stress the education. I too appreciate my Mr. Phelps and Ms. Bruce for being they were at the one I was at, for being there and actually answering questions. And I think as all of us go out and push that information out, it'll be a lot better. But we need to have decisions based on merit and logic versus versus opinions and feelings. And as a person in the community that's hearing it from both sides, I really want to appeal to the logic side. And I want to say, not just the next 2-year term, but I think we need to look at the next 5-year terms and which way we close and open schools or close and move schools. And I also want to say, as far as I know they haven't dealt with the hikes, Muskegon hikes yet, but I really want to put a lot. I really want you guys to put a lot of thought in that, and how we could, how test scores could be affected, and how we can write it to where it will help both districts instead of hinder one district. Except, I'm not gonna say accepting that, but accepting students that need to be educated, accepting our students. We just need to have a fit where those test scores and everything don't fall on us and don't put our district in a worse situation where it's at now. And that's all I have.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Mary Husett, and I live at 1750 Scenic Oak Lane in Muskegon, and I am an employee at Nelson Elementary School. I'm here on behalf of the students of Muskegon. And what I want to say is I truly believe that whatever we do, we have to do what is right for our students. We have to make the best we have to fiscally be responsible to the taxpayers and to the administration, to our teachers, and to our students. It's very clear that McLaughlin has $750,000 to $1 million of repairs that has to take place. We all know that, and that's out there. The bond money is there to pay for that. I understand. They should have it, they should have had it, and they didn't get it. But at this point, since we have to close the building, and that money can be reallocated into other schools in our district, I think that the thing that is most fiscally responsible is to take that money to buy technology, to help our students be in a position with the rest of the students in this county. North Muskegon, Mona Shores, Reese Puffer. These schools have computers in the classrooms. I work in 2 classrooms that have two computers in their classroom. If we took that $1 million and we spent that throughout the entire district, we could buy iPads for our students. We could buy more computers so our children have an opportunity to become great citizens in our community, but also to lead the way to sit in your position one day and to help our school district succeed. I also believe that Nelson School has a far better layout, both for parking, for our facility with 3 floors, so that we can put the 4, 5, and 6 on the upper level. We can put the 2nd and 3rd on the 2nd, or however that is arranged, and kindergarten, 1st grade, and preschool on the main floor. I think that our facility is a stronger facility. It does not need the repairs, and we have the space to do that. And so, in my opinion, I think $1 million, rather than to be spent on repairing a roof and putting heat in the hallways of a building that doesn't currently have it, should be seriously thought about before we do that, and when we consider we could buy buses for our kids and the technology possibilities to put our children further ahead than they are now.
Hi, my name is Deborah Griffin, 2015 Addison. I come before you as a parent and as a product of public school system. What I would say is this: I am literally devastated that we have allowed, all the way back from Brown versus Board of Education, we thought we won a war. What we have actually done is we only won a battle. And we have had the drumbeat against public school system for almost 60-something years. This is not about a building, and this is not about a lot of things that people are making this about. This is about the bottom line. What we did, we as a community, we voted literally to throw our babies out with the bathwater. Now we're in a situation where the school district has nothing other to do than to face budget cuts and cuts and cuts and cuts. It's not going to stop next year, and it's not going to stop the next year. What we have now is what we're facing is whether or not I can guarantee quality of education for my kids in public education. Is it important? Yes, it is. We have destroyed and left back the legacy. My generation, we were supposed to covet this and protect this from what people had to go through in order for our kids, whether or not we were minority, whether or not we were poor, whether or not we were disenfranchised, we were supposed to be able to have our kids come to a place, get public education, so that they could be better, their lives could be better than their parents or their grandparents or whoever. At this point, what can you do? Well, it's about the numbers, plain and simple. We've heard it over and over again. 80% of the budget is people. You can close a building, but I know for a fact, your decision is going to have to be based on getting rid of people. And that is sad. That is sad. Because the quality of our education of our kids, we're in trouble, and they need us. They need the parents, and they need our support staff. They need the people who have been here and given and guaranteed the fact that these kids are worthy. They're worthy to be educated and to be given a chance. So what we have to do now is basically have to come up with the fact that what we are left with is the fact that what you have to do, and I am more than positive you will be able to do this, is to take in consideration whether or not you're going to privatize or not, whether or not you consolidate or not, whether or not you close A school or B school, that you take consideration that our kids have to be in the forefront, that the quality of the education has to be considered at each and every decision. We cannot continue to make knee-jerk reactions. Our parents, our teachers, our community, we have got to get together. We have got to go to the legislators and say that this funding is not working for our kids, for our schools.
Woo!
I just want to respond to that before anybody else says anything, and the fact that elections are in November again, and I wish that everybody had the fire that she has. Deborah, yes, Ms. Griffin, I wanted to say this. Griffin, yes, because that's what we need. We elected a governor, I don't know who elected him, but I didn't. A governor who has done a lot of things that is against public education. And like she says, maybe in 10 years there will be no public education because of what's going on in the state of Michigan. Our representatives and our governor, that's just my private opinion, personal opinion, but she will.
Let me just pass. Obviously, Deborah has been at some of the meetings where I've been talking to parents, and her piece about the political and the legislative piece, just for people in this room, not every student in Michigan gets the foundation allowance per student like Muskegon. There are districts that get in excess of $5,000 more per year for every one of your children for all 13 years they go through school. There are districts around us that get $1,000 more per year. If it's only $1,000 more, it's about $5 million annually to us. Okay? We have a $5.7 million deficit. Things would be a lot different if it was a $700,000 deficit versus $5. But let me tell you, if we were like the wealthy suburban community of Birmingham with 13,000, we would have in excess of $25 million. So the $5 million deficit, you would all be here. You know what you'd be fighting for? How I would be giving that $20 million back to whether it's employees, buildings, additional programs for kids. You know what? That AstroTurf at the football field would already be there. And it isn't $25 million one time. That's $25 million every year. And I want this is my last political statement of the night. No matter how much any of us pay, no matter how much we earn, there are people in other communities who earn the same amount as any of you, and their kid, though, will get $1,000 to $5,000 more education because of the zip code that they live in. And what you need to do is share that with the people in Lansing, because they make those rules. But I will agree with you. We make choices of who to elect to go there to represent Muskegon County, and we need to change that. If you want your children to get $1,000, $5,000, or anything better than, or those who believe they're better, then let them live on our budget, and then tell us how much better they are than us, and live it for decades, not just a year. So that's that piece that I fully agree, and I'm glad that I've had some parents come on out, hear that message, and get fired up, because I call all the time, but I'm paid to do that. It's different when you come as a taxpayer of this state. In public education, I didn't know there was a difference. We don't pay difference in what we, on our state income tax, we pay the same as those wealthy districts who get more money per kid. So why we have a state income tax that is across the state, no matter what you earn is what you pay. Doesn't vary, but where our kids live in that zip code changes dramatically. And that's not public education in my view. So that's my end of my political piece. Hey, I didn't know that you jumped in.
I'm sorry.
And thank you, Deborah, if you're still out in the hallway, for firing us all up.
Thank you.
As always.
Hi, my name is Charlotte Johnson, and I live at 219 Catherine. I do live in the McLaughlin neighborhood. And I wanted to stand tonight to let everyone know that my fight is not with Nelson. My fight is not with Bluffton. My fight is not with NIMS. My fight is not with any school that may close in the Muskegon Public School District. My fight tonight is with Lansing. I wore my black hot shirt to let you guys know just how heated I am about what's going on. Lansing took $53.4 million from our K-12 school funding. Deborah Griffin and I and a lot of other supporters have been meeting on a weekly basis trying to organize and get community members and get parents to join the fight with us. If you would like to join with us, please see Deborah or I afterwards so that we can get you connected, because we will be protesting, we will be rallying, and we will let our voices be heard in Lansing that K-12 education funding should remain as it was promised and not be hijacked to pay for tax cuts for businesses. Thank you.
we do need to take that. We do need to get out there. Because the positions that we're put in, each and every one of us up here, we're put in a position to clean up some stuff that's being created, and you're feeling the impact, the residual impact of some of the decisions that we have to make, to make ends meet. So thank you.
I just have a question. What is it that dictates how much a zip code student would get and how much?
There is no formula. I use that because if you look at the wealthiest school districts by funding, they will have the highest SEV, which means their homes are the wealthiest, and that means they're the wealthiest people in the state. And what people will tell you is that there's a correlation. We talk about our MEP scores of our students. If you want to talk about scientific studies, there are people who have done the study of our state MEP scores that can correlate success or failure by the zip code, because of wealth permeates high academics because they have more and they get more versus the zip code of districts that receive less funding. And the only ones I would say that don't correlate would be Mackinac Island and Beaver Island. Just got to tell you, they get like $16,000 a kid, but they have like 27 kids on the island K through 12, and they get funded in that fashion because of their small size. But that's the piece where I'm saying is go to the wealthiest districts, school districts, and they're surrounded by local wealthy communities, and then that's where the correlation of how does that magical zip code, they always get more money.
Rich gets richer, poor gets...
Exactly.
Correct.
Well said.
The one thing I just wanted to say is it disappoints me to my heart to see dropping clothing, other school closing like now up in the dropping. I'm a part of the program called Sit Back, and the youth and mental kids out of that program. It disappoints me that I'm closed dropping, and I do look at the short term we need someone that's going to advocate for our students, advocate for teachers, and keep them going. I want to keep the student culture as strong as we need to say we are in the student culture. It's not about who we are, what we need to get back with where we stand. And we got that urge, we got everything. So I encourage parents, vote for me this November and let's get our students back on track.
We had a hand back here.
My name is Lisa Bosworth. I live at 24 Coast Road, North Shores. And I'm a classroom assistant. And I just wanted to say that this year, this school year, at the end of September, I enrolled my youngest daughter in Muskegon Public Schools as school of choice. And she's a student here now. Special education has done a great job with my daughter. When my daughter came to Muskegon Public Schools in September, she was classified in special education, and the staff evaluated her and worked with her for about 3 to 4 weeks on some of her evaluations. And I'm very happy and I'm pleased with Muskegon Public Schools. And I wanted to let you know that this child is acing kindergarten and doing a great job. And so I'm proud as a parent, not only as a classroom assistant being a public school employee from Muskegon Public Schools, that I was able to enroll my daughter in school of choice in Muskegon. And I thank you for allowing the opportunity to keep that open for us parents.
Thank you. Is there any other comment?
I'm Marcia Holman. I live at 2240 LaRue. Before I started in Muskegon Public Schools, I worked for Grand Haven Brass Foundry. We sent jobs to China. They'd ship us back our cards, and we would put them in Grand Haven Brass Foundry boxes. Well, eventually it caught up with us, and Grand Haven Brass Foundry is no longer existing. So we lost our jobs because of sending jobs to China. So now here, you know, I quit that job before they closed, but only by a few months. And I came to the public school, and I was so excited because you know, it was kind of, you know, me thing. But I said, oh, thank you, God. As my witness, I'll never have to worry about being laid off again. Wrong. Now, I'm back here 13 years later going, oh, we're not sending our jobs to China. We're going to send our jobs to someone who will work for $7 an hour and not give a hoot about our kids or our community. My husband doesn't understand. My kids are all grown. But I have so many kids here. I've worked for the school long enough where the kids that I worked with when I was in the elementary school, I'm watching them graduate. It makes me proud. They're not my color, they're not my kids, they're not my blood, but they're my family. I love the kids from Muskegon, and I don't care what anyone says, Muskegon kids are great. And the next thing, I was a Bluffton parent. Okay? It breaks my heart to see that it'll probably close. I understand it completely because the people that have their kids at Bluffton School, about 4th grade, they go, we can't let them go to Bunker. Oh, no. And they send them to Shores. When my daughter graduated in '04, 18 of the top 25 kids that graduated were from Bluffton. It hurts. You know, it hurts to think it might be closed. It hurts worse to know that I could lose my job and lose my kids.